Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Beers and the Bodyslams Halloween edition. Just kidding. Ooh. Yeah. We've got a great show for you today. We are going to be talking about all things spooky,
creepy,
Halloweeny, but not Halloweeners. That's something completely different.
Do not search for Halloweeners on the internet. You will be sadly horrified. Unless you like that kind of thing. Go ahead.
Sitting across from me is the candy corn to my bag of candy. Good old JB.
Sitting to my left is the lemon pepper that coats my wings, Mr. Fluffy.
And sitting across from me is the skinless grapes you think are eyeballs, Irish.
Oh, I've never been a skinless grape.
Remember that when a kid?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
That no, because I'm from the South, so we also use peach pits.
Peach pits.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. So
Old man balls.
So obviously, if you haven't picked up on it yet, this is our Halloween show. It's one of my favorite times of year. So we're going to be talking about Halloween, creepy wrestlers, Halloween themed pay-per-views, all fun. Things creepy and eerie and spooky. When we come right back.
It all seemed like such a shame. We engaged in some of the most brutal contests this sport has ever known. But I couldn't help feeling that when it was all said and done, The Undertaker never really knew me at all.
This is the Beers and Bodyslams podcast with your host, Mr. Fluffy, good old JB, and the Irish O'Leary.
You know what it feels like to sit on an airplane with the stench of your own shark flesh in your nostrils for 14 hours? Because I do, and it makes me sick. Do you know what it feels like to walk inside your home and your wife says, "What is burning?" And it's me!
This is the only podcast bringing you craft beer and pro wrestling that really matters.
I have my reservation in the emergency room, and I've gone through the trouble of making one for you. Because by the time we're done, the fall, mail the present, you're going to need this. Because we are going to look like twins!
What are we drinking, Fluffy?
We are drinking a very special beer today from Magic Hat Brewing Company. We are drinking their Vamplifier. Vamplifier. Ha ha. It's their hoppy red ale. It only comes out in October, obviously.
October. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
It only comes out in October.
It only
Definitely hoppy, that's for sure.
Jeez, yeah. Tell me about it.
It's hoppy.
Oh,
it's
no.
hoppy.
Okay, we got to let Dusty rest in peace.
hoppy.
We got to come out with a different guy.
All right. So,
Brother,
no. But no, it's Vamplifier from Magic Hat, hoppy red ale. I like it a lot. I had it on draft the first time. I enjoy it. Apparently, I am the only one that enjoys it. Thank you. It's from either Rochester, New York, or South Burlington, Vermont. I'm not sure which brewery makes it out of their two. They have two distinct locations, but I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like hoppy beer.
Okay. To be fair, good old JB is getting his beer palate together, and when you drink a high hoppy beer, if that's not your thing, it makes you want to shave your tongue, right?
Yeah. It's
a red, so the reds are drier, so the redness of it really pulls a lot of the hoppiness out.
This is the one that Mrs. Irish would really love the most. I'm not a hoppy guy, I'm a darker beer guy, but after I get another couple good swigs in,
it's good.
I'll probably enjoy it. I probably, no disrespect, and I love Magic Hat, I probably will never order it for myself because this is not the beer for me. But if you like a hoppy beer, this beer is the bee's knees.
And that's
right
one
one
reason that's why I love beer. What you're talking about, and we can talk about it for a second, is there is a beer for everybody.
Definitely.
If you like fruit,
Several beers.
if you like dark, if you like light, if you like crispy, if you like hoppy,
Yep.
if you want beer that tastes like drywall, they make it.
Ooh, yuck.
If you want a 12%, they make those too.
That's right.
The highest percentage I think I had was 18.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I had an 18%. It was
Wow.
brutal.
I had one in Belgium. I went to Belgium several years ago, and their laws are different. So whatever the highest alcohol content we have here, Belgium can have even higher. And I had a Duvel, which put me on my butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's beer's crazy that way. I mean, you've got so many different flavor tastes and combinations, and then you start dealing with the alcohol percentages, and that's why I love craft beer. I just can't. I'm sorry, I don't mean to take all the time.
No,
you're fine.
I
You're
just
fine.
came back from a trip into this little itty bitty small town of Ohio, and they had a brewery in the town. This place has got a college.
Like one stoplight in a McDonald's.
No, it's got like 3 stoplights and a couple of McDonald's. So it's a big burg. But they had a brewery there, and all the beers that we had were phenomenal. And, craft beers is one of those things where, you find something and you try out a bunch of different beers, and you'll eventually find something that you love.
And that's why if you do want to see what we're drinking at any time, I went on a trip a couple weeks ago to Boston. You just went there. You can always follow us on Untapped. I want to say that when we're talking about this. You can follow me, Mr. Fluffy.
Follow me at GoodOLJB.
You can follow me at the Irish O'Leary.
Because we all drink a lot of beers that we don't end up with on the show because I just drink a lot of beers.
We're alcoholics.
Yeah, we're alcoholics. And I love to explore. So there are a lot of beers that don't end up on the show that we do drink. So you can check us out.
And we hate our livers.
That's right. So, all right, we're talking
Some
about
more than others.
creepy WWE. Ooh. Some of the superstars.
That was good.
Ooh, that was
Thanks.
really good.
I try. I
That
practice.
was awesome. Some of the superstars over the year that have given us the shivers, the willies, the shakes.
Oh, I get all that when I look at Alexa Bliss.
That's right. So we're going to start
Hey,
up.
Melina, I can't wait for you to get back, sweetie.
Oh, you're so sweet.
There are times when 99% of the time she looks amazing, but every now and then there's one picture where the lighting's not really great.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
she's got a weird face.
Well, I'm sure all of the
time.
women have those moments.
so do the men.
Well, I'm not
Oh, yeah.
really looking
Sexist.
at them like that, but okay.
You're not?
No.
Whoops.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start
They
out.
all look terrible to me. So
I don't know. Tyler Breeze.
speaking of which,
Oh,
He's so
stop.
pretty.
where
He's
is
so
Brazango,
pretty.
man? We'll get to that.
We'll get it.
another time.
Another time.
Yeah,
They're not
hey.
creepy. They're him
Creepy in a
and
different way.
Fandango's creepy, but in a completely different
Oh,
way.
yeah, he's like pervy.
Fandango's like shows up at your door, knocks, and goes, "Hi, I'd like to tell you who I am." He's up
Hide
on the
the
list.
children. Hide the
Yeah, he's
children.
on the list. All right, but not the good list, not the Jericho list. He's on the federal list.
Oh, that is. We're just
boy.
playing. We're just playing. Fandango, if you're listening, really, honestly, we love you. We'd love to have you on the show.
And tell me why you're not on the federal list.
We're hiding our girls.
So, all right.
Oh boy.
Talk about some creepy superstars because the WWE has produced many over the years. Other federations have too. But one of the ones that's all right was Mankind. Mankind came in and was creepy immediately. I remember the original promos of him in the boiler room. It was Mick Foley, and I think that was one of the instances where the W thought they could change somebody, and they kind of did. I mean, they took Mick Foley, whoever knew as Cactus Jack, and knew who he was, shaved part of his head, put him in half a mask, maybe, and then put it in a boiler room and made him creepier than he was as Cactus Jack. And I didn't think that was quite possible and made you really fear this person.
Mankind was clearly his best character. And I
by
think,
far.
didn't they create that for the Undertaker feud?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where that's.
You mean something that
that's where
better
that
than
came
Dude
from.
Love?
Yeah. I mean, they brought him in. They were looking, he wanted to feud with The Undertaker right off the bat. And it was perfect.
That music was even creepy.
Oh, yeah.
When you heard that, it was like, who is this? And
But I
then
just remember him sitting in the boiler room talking to himself.
Yeah.
Like it was
rocking
never,
back and forth.
Yeah, it was never
like,
like
oh
he
my
was
God.
talking to the camera when he was in character. Like he was giving a promo. It was him going, "When I was a little boy,
Yeah.
Mom used to tell me no."
That wasn't good.
And I would say, "Mommy, I love you." And it was like complete ramblings. He would pull on his hair. It was a dedication. He shaved part of his head continuously and did things to his body that were horrible just to stay Mankind.
Right. Yeah. And I remember watching, and that was during the age when they were bigger than life, almost comic book,
Over the top characters.
characters.
Yeah.
And they were so good. This promos were creepy. They were eerie. They'd get under your skin. And it was great. It was a good time to be a WWE fan.
Yeah.
Excuse me. WWF.
Yeah, so WFM.
Yeah.
Next thing I want to talk about a little bit is the Boogeyman.
I'm the boogeyman, and I'm coming to get ya.
One of the most complicated face paints definitely
yeah.
they've ever had.
No, definitely.
And the fact that it's all I envision with the Boogeyman is it was somebody's job every week to get the worms. Like some poor PA, that was their entire existence, was when they showed up at the arena, Vince going, "Where's the worms?"
Yeah, the red smoke that started his entrance.
Oh my God. It was great though. And again, it was a time when it was over the top.
Oh, yeah.
He had the big furry like shoulder pads things and he would come out.
He'd like smash an alarm clock over his head or
Yep,
something when he was
yep.
starting coming out.
He was kind of a little I don't know, Flavor Flavy in that way.
Yeah.
Flav, and I'm coming to get ya.
And he took out his dentures so his teeth
Oh
really
my God,
were not
that's
connected.
so funny. Not the best wrestler though.
No.
That's the
no.
problem. And that's the thing about when you have a gimmick that's so over, but you can't wrestle.
He wins though.
Well, yeah, he's eating worms.
Yeah.
I mean, have you eaten a worm?
Yes.
Knowingly, no.
Yeah, me neither.
I did it once.
Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you think about that?
It was
Did you
gross.
get tequila or was it just a straight worm?
No, it was straight worm.
Oh, okay.
It was gross. No, but it was great though. What made him great was the whole when he would do the promos where if somebody else would be doing a promo and he would just show up and with the worms and go, "The Boogeyman's coming to get ya," and then walk out of camera and you'd be like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, he got shortchanged, man. I thought
Yeah,
they were
he
bringing
did.
him back.
They talked about
They
it.
brought him back for like a half a heartbeat and then he disappeared again.
Still can't wrestle.
Still can't wrestle. Still.
I think they
can't-
brought him back because they wanted to didn't they do an action figure of him?
Yeah. Well, he was also in the video game a couple times.
He'll come back to feud with Bray Wyatt pretty soon, I'm sure.
You think so?
I don't
Then
know.
he'll
I'm
join the family.
Totally guessing.
Oh
It'll be
god.
him and Kane and Randy
Yeah.
Orton, and one of these things is not like the other.
Well, speaking of Bray Wyatt, the new king of creepy,
Bray Wyatt?
Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's creepy in a way.
Back in the day.
Yeah, when he first came on.
Oh my god, yeah. When he came out and they had all the people with their lights, and we've done it. Me and Iris have been to a couple pay-per-views where we sat there and did it too.
Yeah.
He was, the Eater of Worlds gimmick when he first came in was just bizarre. I mean, he's still doing that same gimmick, but it's nowhere near as
But
creepy.
it was
as it used to be.
unique, and
Yeah.
I've never. It was kind of like a play on the Undertaker, kind of, but it was a unique way that they did it. I've never seen anything like it, and then they just obviously totally ruined it ever since then. But
It was like the Undertaker
like-
crossed with a Southern preacher.
yeah,
It was really
Right.
that mixture of
was
that
a
backwoods
strange-
preacher.
Yeah,
Yeah, and this is another shining example where good promos, solid character work. It's basically the antithesis of Curtis Axel.
Yeah. But
Curtis
Bray
Axel-
can wrestle though to
Yeah.
back it up if they let him win.
Yeah, and Bray, of course, we know who his dad is, who his brother is, and Bray, I think he got something pop really hard, like smashed his nose during a show, and he took it really well backstage. I mean, I think he's well liked backstage.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's just, again, it goes back to the writing, and I'm not getting on the soapbox, but his promos for the first year or two, those quick vignettes, the sheet mask, Eric Rowan helped him out huge by
Yeah.
not ever taking that mask off,
And just stand there cocking
stand
his
there.
head.
Yeah.
cock his head back and forth. To this day, Mrs. Irish cannot handle any of those guys on TV. Especially when they bring the sheet mask out. She's like, I got to go somewhere else. I can't handle this stuff. That's of the devil. I got to put this away.
He was also the first major character that came from NXT as his character to the main roster and took off.
Yeah.
Because he was doing the same thing in NXT, and there was always that question when the guys came up from NXT, would they be rebranded into something else to come up? He brought it with him, and it showed that you could do that. But at the end, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn have all benefited from that because you could prove you could build a solid gimmick in NXT and roll with it all the way up.
I think if he fails at that, Bailey doesn't get the wacky waving inflatable arm
Nope.
play, the two men
Agreed.
entrance that she's got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Because-
Shotzi doesn't. He's in the boss. I think
Right.
they're all.
There's a direct line
Yeah.
between, and it started with Bray Wyatt.
They all get to move around. Also, we want to talk about one of my favorites from the sort of 80s time was Papa Shango. Remember Papa Shango?
Yeah, I do.
He would come out with a smoking skull.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments of all time with him was when he possessed the Undertaker in the ring, and then the Undertaker puked backstage on somebody. Do you remember that?
No, I missed
Oh, he comes out doing the whole like shaking, like he's having convulsion, that somebody should give him maybe something not to bite on himself. And like all of a sudden the Warrior like drops to the mat.
Oh, it's
rolls
Warrior
around.
Undertaker, right?
No, it was Warrior Shango. Was
I
that
thought you
the
said
feud?
Undertaker.
No, it was Papa Shango. And they took Warrior to the back, and Warrior's like screaming in the back.
Oh, yeah, he had some black liquid or something.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he literally puked on one of the assistants. It was bizarre. And at that time, it was really, when I was younger, so you believed it was real and you didn't know what was going on. It was amazingly fun.
Yeah.
But he was a guy that, had a lot of gimmicks before he became Papa Shango.
Yeah, who was he?
So you're gonna ask me that
wind
question.
up being?
Godfather.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, he was a
He
Godfather.
actually challenged Bret Hart for the title.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was a good father, Godfather. He was a couple of things for that.
The good father.
But he was
Saturday's Night Main Event, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
But he had a good run in that character.
Yeah, he really did, actually.
Yeah, super good.
All right, so
And then made the Hall of Fame as Godfather, ironically.
So let me get a couple of mine out.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that where we want to go?
yeah, we got
It's
more
a round table discussion.
Yeah, we got more. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of my guys isn't necessarily known for his WWE, but it does kind of overlap. But you talk about creepy, and the literal personification of evil is Kevin Sullivan.
Yes.
When Kevin Sullivan was out there,
Dungeon of Doom,
and he dubbed himself the Prince of Darkness, I don't know if this was kayfabe. I don't know if he was legit. I've heard guys tell stories that he was really believing his hype to the point of where he was really doing some crazy crap. But he would do so many incredibly creepy things. And when he had his army, like you said, the Army of Darkness, he was just scary. And you'd look at his eyes, and he'd have that dark face paint. Kind of looked a little bit like
The dark circles under
he
his eyes.
totally stole from Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Well, that and he used to paint his eyebrows on, but it was like this really high,
High arching
eyebrows.
I don't think that was a character, though. He was kind of batshit crazy.
Yeah, I do too. And he was with Woman was it Woman?
Yeah, he was with Woman.
Yeah, and she was kind of, bug nuts crazy too. So I think those are the kind of characters that even if it was all kayfabe, it was so believable and was so scary because he would do things and, take it, and I'm using my air quotes, way too far.
Well, the other thing is he was also great at that sort of what Bray Wyatt's doing now is that hesitation stutter promo where it wouldn't be straight roll. It would be like, okay, Hulk Hogan was obviously one of his main targets in WCW because he was always trying to get the belt for power. And we're like, Hulk Hogan, my Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you down and destroy
That point of emphasis.
Hulkamania. And it was that stutter stop, and it made it so impactful that he was so great at it.
I think some of the times they were struggling to get the lines out, but
Although I will say that Kevin Sullivan is attached to one of the worst characters in wrestling history, which is the Yeti.
I don't even remember
the
that.
Yeti.
Do you remember the? Oh, you
I
don't remember?
do remember the Yeti.
I don't remember.
The problem with the Yeti, well, number one,
Probably
it was called the Yeti.
a good thing. Probably.
But when you call somebody the Yeti, and then you have him come out dressed up as a mummy, that makes no sense. He also brought in the Giant. He was Dungeon of Doom. The Giant was in Dungeon of Doom. Ming, all those guys were in there. There was a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. Zodiac, who was Brutus the Beefcake.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some great guys in there.
About that.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a great lineage, and he had such a good mind for the business. I mean, even outside of all the crazy stuff, he had a really good mind for the business.
Yeah.
WCW.
Well,
he was the
booker.
Yeah. He did. I mean, I think he had his good sides and he had his bad sides.
Chris Benoit was really his bad side. That kind of played into his crazy character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that kind of spilled over the real life situation. Spilled over into.
Well, the whole rumor is. For those of you who are let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about it's Halloween's creepy show.
Yeah.
There is a rumor, and I mean this respectfully to Kevin Sullivan or the Chris Benoit family, who may or may not be listening, and any lawyers out there. We were just talking. We understand this is all rumor.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that enough a disclaimer?
Irish is totally opinionated on this subject.
Yes,
That's right.
The opinions
That's right.
of the Beers and Body Slams podcast
Yeah.
do not necessarily reflect.
There's a rumor that when they looked at the series of events with Chris Benoit, and for those of you who are maybe new to wrestling, Chris Benoit supposedly, allegedly, well, as far as the law books go, he murdered his wife and son, and then he
hung
committed
himself.
suicide.
Yes.
There are weird idiosyncrasies with that whole couple of days, because that was coming up to a pay-per-view. Eddie Guerrero talked about that, the phone would ring, and then he sounded like he was under duress, and then it sounded like he went to go answer the door, and the phone got hung up, and it sounded like people were struggling. The rumor going around is that was Kevin Sullivan. What if? I mean, you talk about somebody that was crazy.
Well, okay, and if you're going to
That
clarify
pushed him
that woman who was
Benoit's
Nancy Benoit's wife at the time was Kevin Sullivan's
ex-wife.
ex-wife.
Yes.
So there was and
History.
a lot, and Benoit basically stole her from him in a lot of ways, in every way. So
And I'm from the South,
So if you remember those matches,
totally
Yeah.
makes sense.
They were not
those
pulling
matches,
punches at
no.
all.
no,
They were pure out brawls.
they were.
Yeah, it was
And that-
crazy.
And he seemed unhinged anyway, so
Yeah.
I could just imagine. Now, it's all speculation, but
Oh,
when
of
you
course.
stop and think about it, I'd love to see. I've heard they're doing a movie of Benoit's life.
They are,
I wonder
yeah.
if they're going to.
No, I think it's gonna be straight.
It's going to be straight.
Yeah, it's gonna be straight.
Oh gosh. Anyway,
It's gonna be straight. So
What do you mean straight?
it's not gonna be like there's gonna be no conspiracy theory. It's based off
factual.
of. Yeah, it's based off of the actual events that happened and
okay.
everything. Because supposedly Vince is trying to stop it already because he's not
Doesn't
thrilled.
want any part of it. Of course not.
so my other addition, I'll go ahead and throw mine out here because I want to
Oh, go
definitely want to
ahead.
hear yours. Is he really was popular in ECW, and he really did some creepy promos, and I wish he would come back to NXT. Was the Sinister Minister?
Oh yeah.
I thought he was the devil, and he wanted you to think that too.
Well, he was in ECW. It was a creepy as hell. He had a run in TNA too,
Yep.
where he was great there. What was fun about him is he made you believe that he was truly the devil.
Oh yeah,
Like there was no question about it. And there was the way he dressed. He was long. He was lanky. He dressed very fashionably.
all red or all black.
Yep, all red or all black.
All read everything. Oh, sorry.
And he just no. Now she's all black. Everything, by the way.
Now, once you go black,
That's the way I like her.
So
Wait,
off subject, but yeah, no, he was great. And again, another guy that gave a great creepy promo,
yeah,
made you fear for the person he was wrestling.
and he made the people that he was managing. He elevated those people because even if it was a weak character as a wrestler, because Sinister Minister was leading you, or he was in charge of your stable or whatever, he just added such a great depth and such a creepy vibe to it. It was one of those things where you just had to know that your manager was the Sinister Minister, and it just added such a level of, oh, I want to see what happens. What's going to happen now? And
Yeah,
it was good.
it was fun. It was fun. Who do you got, JB?
Well, my first one, I'm going to go to one of the women's,
Women's.
Luna Vachon, who was
Bat
the
nuts.
furthest thing from the diva that you can imagine ever being in the WWE. Just her blood curdling screams alone, I can still hear them in my head. The mohawk, it's just like I've never seen a character like that before when she came along.
That and like the spider web, like on her face,
Tattoo.
like tattoo.
She was a
Look at her veins.
different type of person for real. When I first seen her, I was like, "Who is this girl?"
Her voice.
Just her voice,
Creepy.
just like the way she wrestled, her facial expressions, everything about her was just so anti-diva. It was kind of. I'm surprised that she even went to WWE.
She didn't have
during
a
that
huge
time.
run. She wasn't there very long.
And she fought the system because like they wanted her to be something else, but she was like, "No, I'm not gonna be a Trish Stratus or one of those types."
Right. And she was a Vachon, so she wrestled her butt off. She could wrestle. She could
Oh, yeah.
go.
Yeah.
She knew how to go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember those matches, and it was just kind of brutal.
I think she came out with Bam Bam Bigelow.
She was the Bam Bam for a while. Yeah.
That's how she started, and then she kind of
Makes total sense.
Yeah, I know, right?
They get
So
their
they
tats
go for it.
together.
It formed one giant tattoo. That was a roadmap to treasure. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a completely conspiracy theory. If you put them back to back.
I think she's the reason that Sable quit wrestling because they had a little feud for a minute.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
She had to teach her the ropes and have a few battle scars to show from that. But
What you got?
Paul Bearer.
Ooh, Paul Bearer.
The original creepy from my WWE experience was Undertaker, and I was like, obviously we had never seen anything like that before, and Paul Bearer was the leader and that did all the talking, and I'm like, this guy is like out there. This is nuts.
Taker would not be the legend he is now if it wasn't for Paul Bearer, and Taker has admitted that, completely admitted that it was in the beginning, especially when Mark Callis was still sort of learning what the Undertaker character was. It was Paul Bearer that pushed the character forward in ways he never imagined it would go. It was incredible. His delivery of the my Undertaker, the way you
Did
felt
that pretty good.
That character was ahead of his time, though.
Oh yeah, totally. It was crazy. And even when he turned on Undertaker and brought out Kane, you felt the emotion in it.
Yeah, for sure.
One of my favorite moments ever in wrestling history was when the Undertaker buried Paul Bearer in the cement. Alive, and you just let him go, I'm sorry. And he kills him because he knows it's his weakness. I mean, that was the urn. It basically showed that Paul Bearer was actually the power of the Undertaker. It wasn't the urn. The urn was just what he carried around. It was all Paul Bearer the whole time.
Irony is that he even managed Mankind for a while.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The fact that we even talked about him.
The thing that made Paul Bearer great, outside of the fact that all the creepy stuff, is he could actually make sense of that convoluted Undertaker Kane family stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you listen and go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But he was awesome. I watched that match live where he buried him.
That was great.
And I was like, holy crap, how do you, surely that's fake. And how would they fake that?
I still don't know how they did it. I've watched a couple of that. I still don't know how they pulled it off.
Have you seen the behind the scenes where they were rehearsing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say I want to talk about two more guys. There's two guys that I think are on the creepy Hall of Fame. You're going to make a Mount Rushmore creepy. There's two guys that are, and for two different reasons.
Vince McMahon.
The Mount Rushmore.
Number one is The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Because he defined what creepy is in WWE. He came out, he was completely different. When he came out with the Survivor Series on, Team Ted DiBiase, $1 Million Team, as a hype, it was amazing. And he was sort of in the era of the comic book, but he took it to a whole new level. And he was one of the guys that was able to take a comic book character and turn it into an icon, because he easily could have become a joke.
Sure.
It was amazing. And the other guy is Jake the Snake Roberts, the king of creepy without being physically creepy.
Yeah.
The
psychology that he brought to the business.
His promos are chilling. You watch them on YouTube now.
Top 3 of all time promo.
Chilling. Yeah. Like makes you fear.
Yeah, we'll do one of the Jake's promos in the show notes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Show.
I remember, one of those I remember is when him and the Undertaker, or him and the Ultimate Warrior, when he had the Ultimate Warrior in the room and he opened the casket up and the snake bit the Ultimate Warrior, and him just going, not what you expected.
I don't remember biting Ultimate Warrior. I remember me as a kid losing my mind when he bit Randy Savage.
He did that one too. That was in the ring.
I lost my mind.
It was in the ring.
Yes, he had tied him to the ropes and he bit his arm.
Yeah. But there was just, he was.
Well, he had to force a snake. Snake's like, I don't know where that's been.
Bite him.
Would you want to kick? Would you want to bite Randy?
That snake was high for 6 weeks.
But Jake, he just took it to a level that had never been seen, and I don't think has been seen since. I really do. He's top 3 promos.
I disagree with you. I think it's exactly what Bray Wyatt does, because the thing about what Bray does,
he learned from him, but
you could totally see, because most guys are, I'm going to get you in the ring and I'm going to bend you. Jake the Snake would get, I'm going to find you and I'm going to do things to you that are just unnatural. And you would sit there and you go, holy crap, this guy's legit. And then you watch what Bray Wyatt does, and he's like, blah, 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 I'm the eater of worlds, blah, 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 and I'm going to find you. Run. And I could see a correlation between what Jake did and then what Bray Wyatt's doing in the promos. It totally goes back.
Well, the other thing is The Undertaker and Jake did that were so great is they were guys that were able to no matter what they were doing, it didn't matter if they were face or heel. Who they were wrestling determined whether they were a face or heel. They never stopped saying the same thing. They would say the same thing every week.
Yeah.
But you would either boo them or cheer them based on who they were wrestling, not what they were doing. Because I remember Jake promos when he was a face, and they were just as chilling as when he was a heel. And Undertaker the same way. Undertaker would talk about burying people and people would cheer him. 3 weeks later, he'd be wrestling a face, and he'd be like, "No, don't kill him." I mean, it was the weirdest. That those two guys learned how to
Adapt.
be one character, modified in ways to keep it relevant, but never have to worry about being a face or heel. Just run the line. And it was amazing.
I listened to just talk about characters like that. I listened to a promo a couple weeks ago of Michael PSA's.
Okay.
And it's the promo where he started out heel and he ended up face. When he was turned out of the Freebirds, and he had the crowd, and they were like, "I hate you," blah 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 blah. And then he started to talk about Mama and Redneck Pride and all that stuff. And he was a face. He had that ability.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys. Not on the creepy. I know we're talking
He's
about
not
creepy
creepy.
stuff, but I know we're talking about creepy stuff. But I'll have to find it, and I want to say that we used that in one of our show notes.
Possibly.
There's guys that's why wrestling is one part, spectacle, the WrestleMania, the spectacle of it all. It was one part the wrestling.
Yeah.
But it's also the ability to tell that story. And
Well,
again,
keeps coming back every week.
it's like we talked about in the show last Thursday. Enzo Amore comes out and he holds the crowd his hand, and they cut his promo for him.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake comes out and scares people to death. And then he comes out a couple weeks later, he's talking about a heel, and everybody's kind of creeped out, but they're excited because of what he's going to do. I mean, those guys are few and far between.
I do want to say, once again, I want to say thank you to Magic Hat for the Vamplifier Hoppy Red Ale. I already finished mine.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm enjoying it.
Working towards the finish line here.
Working towards it.
Slowly but surely.
Gotta get done.
Tortoise in the hair, baby.
But thank you so much, Magic Hat. It's a beer. You might be able to find some floating around. I'm assuming you'll be able to find it through mid-November in some places.
Yeah.
But we had some ideas for some Halloween-themed pay-per-views.
Oh yeah, I had a
show.
I had a couple.
But
before we get to that, we should definitely ask the people who are listening, who were the creepiest wrestlers from your past? Who do you remember?
John
being
Cena.
Yeah, that is true.
He just creeps me out. His head's not real.
Pistachio elephant. What'd you say?
He's not real. His head's paper mache.
I had two good ideas. One really good and one sort of good. The sort of good one is, we already have, Hell in the Cell. But what if they changed it and then we brought back the WCW Halloween Havoc?
Yeah, we talked about in the pay-per-view show. I love that pay-per-view. I'd love to see it come back.
But we do the Havoc in a different way where, you can still do the Halloween theme, but what if we did the Havoc part of like each match would be determined by the crowd through the app? They could vote, and then they had to kind of scramble. The Havoc part comes in with, what they could do, and they'd all be gimmick matches, of course. Because all gimmick matches should be on Halloween.
Peanut butter cup on a pole match.
I go for one of those right about now. Peanut butter cup.
Necco wafers on a stick.
But no pennies. You put goddamn pennies in a match. I'm walking out and I'm egging your ring. I'm egging your arena if you have any pennies in your match. Go ahead.
And
Dusty don't lack pennies.
Don't give out apples, guys. Just don't give out apples. Nobody
don't
wants
give out
apples.
Coloring books either.
Some of the adult coloring books, not like adult porno, but adult coloring books would be nice.
You're getting egged.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're on the list.
You're on the list.
Don't put the bowl outside because I'm taking all the candy. So
See, now
I'm that guy.
There's your Halloween gift. If I had a kid, I would dress him as Jericho, and every time he got bad candy, like those horrible fudgy,
Those chewy,
they come in the orange and the black. It would be
You're on the list.
You'd be like, your candy sucks. You're on the list. And
That's great.
that would be the
Go
best.
dress up as Jericho.
And just walk around with this little thing, and every time he gets
List of
good,
Jericho.
every time, and no matter what candy he gets, whether it's good, but like, oh, you gave me almond joys. I hate almonds. You're on the list.
That's funny.
That would be the great. I would just videotape that. That'd be the greatest YouTube video ever.
If a kid could do that, that'd be great.
Oh my god. Okay. So what was your other idea?
The other idea takes a little bit more work. I would love to see a pay-per-view on Halloween. So they'd have to wait until Halloween falls on the Sunday.
Or just do a special show.
Or just do a special show.
The network.
And call it Halloween. See what I did there?
Oh, play on words, player.
And the trick about Halloween is these are all your worst nightmare gimmick matches. So it would be difficult because the one match would be really tough to do, but you do Hell in a Cell, and it's Halloween. But then you do Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
And then you do a hardcore match.
Okay.
And then you do a tables, ladders, and chairs match. And not that crappy tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs crap. Just tables, ladders, and chairs. Leave the stairs alone, kids. And then maybe do a casket match. And then do an I Quit match. And right there, that's 1, 2, 3,
That's
4,
five.
5, 6 matches
That's
right
six.
there.
There's your six.
There's your pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I think if you booked it right, really hard, and just made it, we're sending the entire roster to hell and make these matches, I think it'd be pretty good.
Well, that's the thing is you'd have to make it fun. You'd have to make it like really deeply themed. The people have to be pissed they're almost there.
Right.
And it wouldn't work.
That would require like actual writing.
Yeah,
in advance.
I think it would have to be a joint show.
That'd
It couldn't
be a good idea,
single.
though.
I don't
Yeah.
think anybody
Great
has
idea.
I don't think anybody has a roster enough to do it. But you do it as a joint show, and maybe that's what you do it. Is all the matches aren't necessarily for
Yeah, you
titles.
have to have that as a joint show.
Almost like a Survivor Series style thing, where it's really to see which match, which brand can really survive
it, too.
hell.
Yeah.
Who can go into these matches and come out with the most victories to prove they're the toughest and the most brutal brand?
Or and I love that idea. Or, you know how you always have those wrestlers who kind of buck against the authority?
Yeah.
All those wrestlers on both shows, this is their punishment.
Put them in gimmick matches.
Their matches are okay. That makes sense.
Seth
Yeah.
Rollins and
Yeah.
people like that. Yeah.
Strowman, you've been giving me crap for 6 months. You want some competition? Great. Well, you're going to be at the Halloween pay-per-view, and you're going to have to be in an I Quit match. Well, who am I going to go up against? This guy. Hey, it's the big show.
Oh, no.
Then I'd
okay.
quit.
Oh, I was just saying, that's exactly. If you're having an I Quit match between Braun Strowman and
Kidding.
Big Show,
I'm totally kidding.
the crowd quits because the entire crowd would be yelling. They would literally, the entire arena be going, "We quit! We quit! We quit!"
Hair right
Yeah.
there.
Like that would be the worst. I could only imagine that one. I could just see the crowd doing that. We quit!
Yeah.
We quit! We quit!
Please retire.
My God.
But that's a good idea, though. I do
Something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
just, make it
Make
be
it
like
fun, though.
Hey guys, whether you like it or not, you work for us.
Yeah.
So yes, we would love your input, but you're being difficult. So you know what? Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to put you and you and you, and then go to SmackDown and you and you and you, and Elimination Chamber for bragging rights.
Yeah, for bragging, and then go out there. But then you sell them. It goes, and that's where you could say it is like, okay, fine. You could play an angle like, okay, if you're the first person eliminated, you're done.
Right.
You're off your contract's over. And if you win, you get a title shot of some type.
Yeah.
You have those consequences.
Stipulations.
And you can even do consequences. Like if you're the first one out, you quit. If you're the second one out, you get this. Third one out, this happens. You fourth, and the winner gets a title shot at their respective brand.
Yeah, you can do a thing where a couple months out, there's been a secret meeting between, both general managers and both, what are they calling them?
Commissioners.
Of Raw and SmackDown Live. And we're trying to figure out, they do it like a press thing. Stephanie, what was this hidden door meeting about? I really can't talk about it right now, Tom, but you'll know when we want you to know.
You could do video and stuff like that. It'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Daniel, you just came out of these meetings. What's going on? Charlie, I'd love to tell you, but we're not going to tell you until we're ready to tell you.
Yeah.
But we're going to get some control back. And this could actually work because you've got Strowman doing it, and you've got you could really start pushing the club to do it more. You've already got the Miz bucking Daniel Bryan, and I think it could be a cool little gimmick match. I mean, why not? It can't be any worse than every other pay-per-view.
Of course.
Tell us what you would do for a Halloween themed episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of No Mercy.
No, we're not.
No mercy.
That
No
could
Mercy.
be,
There you go.
a prequel to the
that's a great
Halloween
idea.
thing.
No mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know at Facebook.com/Beers and Bodyslams podcast. And you could definitely leave us a comment at Beers Body Slams on Twitter. And you can leave a comment in the show notes at beersandbodyslams.com on the website. We'd love to hear your ideas.
All right. When are you ready to put down your beer for having a bad Halloween costume idea?
Beer, your Halloween costume sucks.
Make sure you go to vintagepressing.com. You can get beer coasters, drink coasters. You can get luggage tags and phone cases. Not going to charge you anymore. They'll kick back the load to us so we can keep buying more beer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And definitely want to check out highspots.com. We've got a link to High Spots. They are your source for wrestling apparel, shoot videos, wrestling collections. If you want to get your own Lucha Libre mask, you can even get a La Parka mask. If you go to highspots.com.
The chairman?
The chairman of the board. Chairman of the board. You go to the link on beersandbodyslams.com, and what they'll do is they'll kick back a couple pennies for us. It doesn't cost you anything. And we've also got an Amazon link, the same exact thing. You know you're going to go shopping. You know you're going to go get it on Amazon. Why not click the link on the Beers and Body Slams page? That'll give us a couple pennies from Amazon. Certainly won't cost you anything more, and that'll keep us on the air and filled with beer.
That's right. That's
always a good thing.
That's a great thing.
That's always a good thing. Once again, I'd like to thank Magic Hat for your Vamplifier Hoppy Red Ale. If you can't find it now, but it's running out, make sure you check it out next year. We enjoy it. At least 2 out of the 3 of us enjoyed it. Did it get better as it went along?
If you can't find it, you can always come and have mine. But no, I'm just kidding. No, it got better as we went along.
It did.
This is from a novice non-beer drinker. It's kind of hits you early.
It hit you early.
But then once you keep drinking, you kind of get used to it. So
fun.
It mellowed out for me.
Enjoy your Halloween, people. And as always, keep your pint glasses full and your body slam stiff. And don't give out Halloween to trick-or-treaters. Or don't give out beer to trick-or-treaters.
Unless it's us.
Unless it's us. Then give us all your beer. Oh, give us all your beer.
I'm the boogeyman. I'm coming to get ya.
You've been listening to the Beers and Body Slams podcast. Find us online at beersandbodyslams.com and on Facebook at facebook.com/Beers and Body Slams podcast. Until next time.
Have a nice day.